Good evening, everyone. I'm Carol Olson Day of the New York Times, and I am delighted to welcome you to this exciting Times Talks. We're live here at the Times Center in New York, and we're live around the world on the web at timestalks.com. And this is the final Times Talks of the year, and we are thrilled to end on an extra high note with tonight's guest. One of the world's top comedians, he's also an actor, writer, and director with a long list of award-winning television shows, comedy tours, recordings, and movies to his name. He's also written a New York Times best-selling book, Rock This. He has won 4 Emmys and 3 Grammys, and he recently came in at number 5 on Comedy Central's list of the 100 greatest stand-ups of all time. Just last weekend, his new film, Top 5, opened, which he wrote, directed, and stars in. The review by Manohla Dargis in the New York Times called Top 5 fast and blisteringly funny, a romantic comedy that's also an extended riff on art, identity, authenticity, and what it means to be a Black entertainer. And by the way, the Times Center plays a bit part in Top 5, and we are honored to have our first Times Talks guest with a scene that was filmed right here. You'll hear much more about Top 5 and our guest from our moderator. Every Monday, his New York Times Media Equation column is must-reading for everyone concerned with how media intersects with culture, society, and business. In addition, he writes extensively about film, television, and books for the arts section of the Times. And he is a Lack Professor of Media Studies at Boston University. In addition to which, he's the author of the frank and fascinating memoir, The Night of the Gun. Please join me in welcoming New York Times media columnist David Carr and our very special guest, Chris Rock.
So I sit first?
You
all right.
sit.
All righty. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for your patience. Chris was here 45 minutes early, putting his shoes on, getting all ready and stuff, and I'm the one who held everything up. Not true. Hey, I'm very excited about tonight, not just because you're sitting and listening to Chris Rock, but also we always do these, and nobody has ever seen the movie, right? And we do it before the movie ever rolls. And judging by the box office, how many of y'all have seen the movie?
Ew. It's not bad.
Whoa, and these are supposed to be your people.
I know. Wow. Okay, couple. That's good.
I was expecting kind of a lot of people jumping into our lap at that point.
Well, you know, they're running out to see Black Annie.
The rest of you should be deeply ashamed of yourselves and are idiots for not seeing it yet. It's a great movie, Chris.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it very, very much. What if we just got started, for those poor folks who haven't seen it, by running the first clip so you can get a taste of what we're going to be talking about. Just a sec. Let's maybe you can set it up. It's you and Rosario. It's sort of the walk and talk about the president.
Oh, okay. We're me and Rosario, and it's sort of the walk and talk about the president. We're walking down a lovely street in the village, and I think we're having an argument about is there ever going to be a woman president, and and what does Obama really mean as far as progress goes. So sit down and watch a little
We're
thing.
going to have a woman president next,
Yeah.
and she is going to be Latina,
okay.
and she might even be gay. And
Okay.
we'll have an Asian president.
Oh, balanced budget.
And we will have another handicapped president.
Okay, hold up. We're not going to have a handicapped president.
Yes, we will. We already had one.
No. I'm
already
talking
had
about
one.
out the closet handicapped president.
He was out of the closet.
Okay,
What is wrong? Out of the
don't
closet.
get me wrong.
People knew that he was handicapped.
No, I got nothing against the handicap, but everybody's not as liberal as me, okay?
Media was
I
better
mean,
then.
you run for president. You don't roll for president. Like, you run a campaign. You don't roll a campaign.
You are horrible.
I'm not horrible.
That is sick. What is wrong with you?
I'm sick. I'm the one that's
Yes.
voting for the Mexican lesbian handicapped president.
There's a lot more where that came from. There's a fair amount of politics, pop culture, smack talk, but there is a political thread running through this and through your comedy. And one of the things I was thinking about when I was going to talk to you is the current president. We just went through midterms where I think the technical legal term for what happened to him, he kind of got his ass kicked, right?
Yeah.
And why is that? I mean, the economy is rolling back. We're less American men and women are fighting than they used to be. Trends are good.
You're asking me?
Yes. Yes, well-known political analyst Chris Rock.
Me? I don't know why people vote against their own interests. I mean, you know, it's America, and most people are poor. And I don't know. I think people. I think people realize they don't really have a shot of attaining this dream they really want. And I don't think they're voting against Obama particularly. I just think they're frustrated, and you know, it's like you're stuck in traffic. Okay, let me try this lane. It's moving just as slow. Okay, let me try this lane. I just think people are frustrated, you know?
And so in the instance of the current president, do you think that I mean, I have my own disappointments with him, but do you think he's weighed down by people's doubts in him, or the fact that everybody's so hopeful when he came in? He came in like Jesus, right? I mean, it's like...
I mean, not quite Jesus.
Okay. Black Jesus?
You know, he came in like, I don't know, like Kanye or something. You know,
Well, that's something.
That's something. That's an entrance, you know? I guess expectations were high, but, and I've said this before, George Bush before him, as bad as he was, he actually, he revolutionized the presidency in a weird way. He was the first president that was only president to the people that voted for him. If you didn't vote for him, he totally ignored you. So in a weird way, I think people they want Bush. They want Obama to behave like Bush. To just take care of us, we voted for you, fuck everybody else. And Obama's problem, or not a problem, whatever it is, but Obama sees fit to be president of the whole country. And that kind of pisses us off.
Right.
Especially us in New York who probably voted for him.
Obama.
Does that make sense?
Of course it does. I mean, I was warming up for this, and I was on a competing media outlet, New York Magazine, Vulture, and they had something called the Chris Rock Wisdom Generator. And it's you pick a topic, and then it's you saying something wise about it. And there's
that's
like
horrible.
40 or 50 different topics.
50?
It's like you know a lot about gay rights, you know a lot about parenthood, drug laws, and I'm thinking, you're not even 50. You ain't that wise.
No, I probably told jokes about all that stuff. I'm the Lance Armstrong of brainiacs. I will be exposed at some point.
You do seem a little juiced, I gotta say. So I read lately about the president's taste in movies.
Oh, boy. Am I supposed to?
I'm trying not to see Scott. If
I know, you like put me on the spot.
No, I'm not that much. Well, a little. It was speculated he's a Kevin Hart guy. You're a Kevin Hart guy, right?
I like Kevin Hart a lot. Kevin Hart
Right.
makes me laugh.
Do you think that there is any, as somebody who probably sends and receives a fair amount of email, some of it maybe a little spicy. I've never gotten an email from you, but maybe you I'm not proud of every email I ever sent, I gotta say. Do you think there is a public interest in folks knowing what the product of that hack?
I mean, of course,
We're talking about the
There's
Sony
definitely
hack,
a public
right?
interest. Now, is it legal to, show this public interest and to feed into it? That's the real question. People are interested in dead babies, I would imagine, but you wouldn't show a dead baby, just because people wanted to see it. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to read my emails, I say offensive things for a living.
Right. What I was thinking is maybe I was there for the Saturday Night Live thing. Thanks for that 9/11 thing. That was pretty spicy. What I was thinking is maybe you and I would do a spoken word performance of the emails. No, I'm kidding.
Let's do it.
Just one last bit on this. Sony's getting killed, right? And whoever it is, we don't know who's behind it. North Korea.
Dr. Evil.
We're not sure. Chris said that in case you're taking notes.
Wow.
So, were you surprised that the normally courageous, fair-minded citizens of Hollywood didn't stand up and stand with their brothers in Sony?
I mean, this whole thing is just scary, man. Somebody, your emails and it's your private stuff, and the whole town's scared. Everybody's got to be scared. No one knows what to,
Nobody knows what to do.
Nobody knows what to do. You say the wrong thing. You see what happened to Donald Sterling, which.
Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think Donald Sterling's a low, he's a bastard and all that stuff. But, again, I say inappropriate things for a living. So when I see a guy lose his property over something he said in private, I get scared.
Especially in a country built on.
Yeah, when I see them taking white men shit, that shit's really scary. That's like, so, I'm not defending what Donald Sterling said at all, but, I mean, if that's not the First Amendment, what the fuck is, really?
Yeah, I think if you're going to shake up the ownership of a team, it should be.
And what did he say? I don't want my girlfriend hanging out with black basketball players. Me neither.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Wait till your daughters grow up. I just met the shooting guard of the Knicks. Honey, run. One of the things that I think if you're going to change the ownership of a team, it should be for things like performance. We don't need to mention the New York Knicks, but we could. What can you?
Oh, God.
What are we going to do about the Knicks? I'm sorry, but let's have a little sporty moment. It's a terrible time. The Giants, the Jets.
The Giants at least have been good.
Right. The Knicks
they're
are
like
just in a death spiral, man.
The Knicks, oh God, it's just so sad. It's sad.
All we wanted the Jets to do last week was lose one more time to get in position for the draft. And they screwed that up too.
Geno Smith. Even Bill Cosby's happy he's not Geno Smith. That's what. Things could be worse. Could be Geno Smith.
Or Johnny Football. So when I watch your movie, I'm white. You may have noticed that.
You carry it well.
Thank you. Hey, it's a great demo. It's a fairly common one, but so I didn't. It's funny. It's like I go to movies in Clifton, New Jersey, which is very mixed in terms of audience and stuff like that. It always skews. This is where the white people are going. This is where the black people are going. I bet when your movie plays that it's going to be a big mixed group, and it's not really a black movie.
Yeah, probably. I mean, my career's kind of played that way, so.
Is that's true of your comedy, right?
Yeah, I'd like to. I like to be. I kind of pride myself on. I could host the BET Awards. I could host the Oscars. You know what I mean? Like somebody. I like to be that guy.
In terms of making a movie, one of the things that if we're talking about between, it seems like Hollywood's good at the tent poles or the itty bitty little movie. And those movies in the middle.
And this is a movie in the middle.
It's a movie in the middle, but like you threaded the needle. It opened. It did. The box office was like $7.2 million, even though some of these people didn't go. Give it up. And I heard your esteemed producer Scott Rudin saying that it's on the march. That
it's picking up steam. The word of mouth's pretty good.
Right. So what? But yet, you had to make it and then sell it. Nobody was lining up.
I lucked up. I kind of ran the idea by Scott. I wrote it up. We had a bunch of meetings. Scott you just sit in his office and you go over and he asks you if you ever read this book. Did you ever see this movie? The guy's seen every movie, read every book. You can't stump him. And then he sends you on your way and you write and you write. And I got him a script and he kind of liked it enough to, go out and get some money. And yeah, and I pretty much had to deal with him. I didn't have to deal with this. When you're dealing with the studio, if you dealt with one person, it probably wouldn't be that bad. But you're like in this big Hutsucker proxy room with all these people, and it's very intimidating. And you got to deal with 6 people sometimes at a time.
And they all start by saying how perfect it is,
and then they tear it to shreds.
That's right.
Yeah. And everybody in the room gives you notes on the person that most resembles them in the movie. So
thankfully in Hollywood there's a lot of black characters.
Right. So the underlings in the room give you notes on the underling in the movie.
Right.
And the women give you notes on the women. And the weird thing is when you're black, no one can imagine being black, so you never get notes on your character. It's very loose notes on your character.
Yeah. Or something like I spoke with my parking attendant about this character.
You get some of that sometimes, yeah.
Well, in terms of, so in that sense, it's weakness, which is no big studio wanted to make it, turned out to be a strength.
We never even went to a studio. Honestly, I never even entertained it. I went to Scott first, and even before I went to Scott, when I was done with it, I was like kind of thinking, budgeting it in my head. I was like, I can pay for this movie. I can do a very, 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 very low budget, $2 million, whatever, $1.5 million version of this movie. I was really just thinking I was going to shoot it myself if he didn't want to do it.
That wouldn't have been as fun, right?
I would have, no, it wouldn't have been as fun. I would have probably got some of the same cast, but no, it wouldn't have been as good. I lucked up. I got Scott Rudin.
And Scott, you guys, is Scott the one that talked to you into doing that movie about the guy in the hat? I really don't want to say
the play.
that word.
The play,
Yeah,
the motherfucker in the hat.
You can say it.
I'd read the play, and I wanted to do it. I don't know. Me and Scott were talking about some other thing I was writing for him. I was writing a script for Mike Nichols, for him and Mike Nichols, and.
Oh, well, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Just working on a script for Mike.
Working on a script for Mike, and I read The Mother with the Hat, and I told my agent I wanted to do it. I just wanted to do a play, and I had to audition. I had to read for it. I had to meet with the, meet with the director, meet with the writer. It was so weird. It's like so many dead people in this conversation. The part was written for Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
And he had done it a few times, table reads and whatnot. So yeah,
Yeah, but what I'm thinking is my perspective, and I think I did a story about the play, but I was writing about you at the time, and I'm thinking, you did 2 days in New York,
Yeah.
you did with the Hat, and I'm thinking, just from my perspective, it's like you're a dude who lived on my cable television set, and you're like the funniest man alive. And I'm thinking, why would you go, like that play was, you were on stage like most of the time. It isn't like, oh, I'll dip a little toe in. It's like you put your whole arm and leg into a very difficult play, played opposite Bobby Carnival. I mean, you had to be a little bit scared.
Oh, I was totally scared. I mean, I'd never done a play before.
Right.
I mean, not in high school.
I know that.
Like, I'd never, ever done a play before. But, I don't know, as you get older, one thing you realize, the only thing that's going to keep you in show business is being good. The heat comes and goes, who's hot, who's cold, but if people think you're good, your phone will ring.
Right.
And I think people, whatever, he's famous or whatever, but I don't know if people thought I could act. So I thought it was very important for me to, get some acting roles, to do Motherfucker with the Hat, to do 2 Days in New York. Motherfucker with the Hat, yes, that's the name of it.
Yeah, and you gave us fits because we could never print the name. I wrote about it, and it's like, well, how many different ways is there to euphemize this?
Hey, we almost closed, and I think me and Scott had I wouldn't say argument, but I was like, you can't call it Motherfucker with the Hat. What are you doing? You can't buy ads for this. You can't put it on a bulletin board at the school. You can't have the church group come, and we eventually changed it to Mother with the Hat, because of course the only thing I would know more than Scott Rudin is the use of the word motherfucker.
Yeah. You know your way around
I
it.
knew my way. I was like, this is going to be a hard sell, trust me. And it picked up steam, but helped change the name helped. But no, it was weird because when I did the play, I was totally out of my element the whole time. I'd never rehearsed like that. I'd never, just to schedule the 6 weeks of rehearsal was insane. Working with these actors was unbelievable. It didn't get, what do I want to say? I didn't have an advantage till it got to the stage. So the whole process of the play, I am the worst person there.
You're a newbie.
I am a newbie, I'm a rookie, I feel it, I'm very cautious. But once we got it to the stage, then it's like, well, the theater's, I don't know, 1,200 seats. I play 5,000 seats.
Right.
You know what I mean? Okay, this is not a big theater for me.
Well, you know what's working in the room.
Yeah, I knew that, just little things, like just my voice.
Right.
Well, every week, these guys needed, therapy for their voice, but it was, I'm used to doing 2 hours by myself. So being on a stage with 3 other people was kind of easy in a sense. It was just physically easy anyway.
Plus, given how you build your stand-up act, which is tweaking, tuning, trying, even with the persistent eyes of social media, and I imagine over repeated performance, you could dial in the knobs a little
was-
bit on
yeah, it
what
was-
was working, what was not.
It was, plus, when I write, do stand-up, I write it all myself. Steven Girgis is an amazing, just world-class writer. So I got this guy, he writes this amazing script, and I get to say these lines, and they kill every night.
Right.
And it was by far the best experience I've had.
Well, now, top 5, and let's say you've been out there hand cranking it. I mean, you have really been going to the wall for this movie. And it's not like you're a guy who lives on the TV set when you don't have something to.
If I'm not promoting something, I kind of just take care of my kids pretty much.
So if I randomly called and you'd say, hey, let's kick it at the Time Center, and you'd say, dude, I have no work to promote, so I'll just be.
Yeah, I like to tell my kids, when I'm not with you, I'm making money for you.
So your movie's doing well, and that's a tribute to the fact, good word of mouth, good bounce, came out of Toronto, was it? With
Toronto.
With a lot of good buzz, and people are saying nice things, and it's well reviewed. And then I just read a really good review of Selma, and I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe, given what's gone on in the past couple of years, maybe it's a good time to be making films that are not, they could be black themed or not, but include black people doing something besides driving white people around.
I would like that.
Well, but I mean, do you think it's underway or not?
I think we haven't done Driving Miss Daisy in quite some time. I mean, they haven't done one of those in a while. No, actually, what was that movie last year, the French movie with the
Well, what about The Butler, right?
Intouchables? Yes, that's a great kind of driving Mr. Daisy movie. No, they're making some good stuff. I liked Dear White People this year. I liked Beyond the Lights. I thought was pretty good.
Right.
So making some interesting stuff.
Well, do you think between Dear White People, Top 5, Shonda Rhimes, Blackish, that we're having like a little bit of a moment around?
I don't know if it's a moment. I just think it's organic. I think everybody, except what probably the Dear White People guy, that's a new guy, but everybody else has kind of been in the business a long time and kind of paid their dues. And I don't know if even Selma is not really a black movie in a sense. It's an American story. It's not even, there's not a big difference. I don't see a big difference between Selma and Lincoln.
Correct.
I mean, it'll play pretty much to the same audience.
Yeah, and it's a big movie about King, but it's also an important movie about Lyndon Johnson as well.
Yeah.
So, but one of the things I enjoyed watching you act in this movie. I don't know anything about the directing, acting. That seems weird to me. I don't know how you do that. But in terms of the acting part of it, you seem to be enjoying yourself. And I saw you talking and said, hey, I love just acting away, and I'd be happy to make a movie with like Alexander Payne or Wes Anderson.
I'd love to.
Well, so what? I mean, I was up here with Wes Anderson. I think to myself, well, why doesn't that happen?
I don't know. I can't sit here and go, well, I'm black. I'm just, they got guys they like that fit that role. I don't know. I won't say it's right. I mean, they got their crew. They work together. God bless them.
I guess so, but
I don't know if I'm a good enough actor to complain like that. Chiwetel should complain.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
okay.
Like Chiwetel's like, hey, why don't you guys call me? You know what I mean? Because Chiwetel's like really that class of actor. You know what I mean? That could fit. I could see him fitting right into any of that stuff.
Yeah, but let's say,
Cheadle's amazing actor. That I've probably seen Don Cheadle star in less than 4 movies.
And he kills it every time.
And he kills it. He's one of the best
The
actors
camera
there
loves
is.
him.
I did a movie with Morgan Freeman called Nurse Betty years ago. Neil LaBute directed. So we're on the set of Nurse Betty. There's some dream sequence. and he kisses Renee Zellweger in the dream sequence.
Right.
And Morgan is, I don't want to say he teared up, but he was very emotional. I was like, what's wrong? He goes, he said, I don't think I've kissed a woman on screen before.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, when has Morgan Freeman kissed a woman on screen? That just shows you what the town thinks of black men. I've seen, Gene Hackman with harems. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like a,
The one of the things that, well, I think part of what happens is like, you could say, let's say all you did was an act, and okay, maybe you aren't those guys, but you ain't nothing either, and you can open a movie, right? So you could say, well, you're in the mix, you're on the list, but you're really in the mix and on the list for a certain kind of thing, which is?
Hey, man, in Hollywood, I think I said this before, it's weird. It's like either they're casting a black guy or they're not. There's no black people in the mix.
Right.
What was that, 50 Shades of Grey? There was no, I never heard of any black people in the mix in 50 Shades of Grey. Like, oh, white women don't want to fuck black men. Why would they do that? You never hear of black guys in the mix for the new James Bond. It's like, well, sure tell. Idris, no. Just, no.
Your movie touches on this about somebody getting typecast, in this case, as a kind of a funny, like, describe the character.
Oh, Hammy the Bear.
Yeah.
I'm a cop inside a bear suit. And Luis Guzman's my partner. It's like a bad Rush Hour / ride along / 48 Hours-y. It's just another, fake Eddie Murphy movie. That's kind of a ripoff because Whoopi Goldberg did a movie, I forget the name of it, but it was her and her partner was a pink dinosaur.
Right.
It's like she was a cop and I wish that could pop up there. You'd be like, what? Like, this is bad even for Whoopi. You know what I mean? Like,
The thing is,
I said this to Whoopi the other day. She goes, oh yeah, it flopped. I was so mad. I was like, no, you lucked up. What if it was a hit?
this
Really
clip,
be in trouble.
This clip is about something that turns into a hit, imprisons the character. And one of the things, when I watched it, I thought, I bet you there's some executive somewhere going, Hammy the Bear, you know what? There might be something there. When in fact, all this is taking Hollywood and just clicking it a little farther to the right, but I'm sure there's some studio exec go,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I wish I would have thought of Hammy. Let's roll Hammy. Let's get a look at him. It's not Hammy, it's the guy imprisoned as Hammy.
It's hard enough getting you a job as it is. I mean, it's not like everybody's knocking on your door for work. It's really hard to get you work. You know that and I know that.
Do you think the wedding is hurting me?
Are you kidding me? Listen, Andre, the wedding is the best thing that you got going right now. And let's be honest, Andre, if this thing flops, we could be talking Dancing with the Stars, man.
Dancing with the stars?
Yes, Dancing with the Stars. That's where you're at right now. Andre, all these people want to do is follow you around for one day. Let them follow you around.
If I get the word out, this movie could still be a big hit. It could be like a Haitian Django.
If you say so, Andre, then yes. Hold on. Hey. What is going on? Where's Andre running to?
Zoolander's in the conference room.
Ben Stiller's in the conference. These white people don't tell me.
Okay. So your guy trying to get out of things.
I'm trying to get out of things. That's Kevin Hart playing my agent, who's kind of based on this guy, Charles King, works over at William Morris. He's like, he's Tyler Perry's agent.
Yeah. So
So he kind of brings in more money than everybody.
Right.
But sometimes they forget to let him know when things are going on.
it's just
He
like-
makes the most money of all the agents.
Right. You just go stand next to Tyler. And
Yeah, so he makes the most money, and they go, hey, Bow Wow's here. Maybe you should meet with Charles King. Like, so.
So,
Hey, Charles, how's it going?
So your character made what looks like a pretty unfortunate, worthy film called Uprising?
Uprise.
Uprise.
About the Haitian Revolution.
Right.
A film Danny Glover's been trying to make for a long time.
Yeah. I think Danny's got the juice. I'm not sure Hammy the Bear.
No, I shouldn't be making it. But yeah, Danny Glover's been trying to make it. This director I love, Haitian director Raoul Peck, has been trying to make a film on the Haitian Revolution.
I don't think you helped him out much.
I
with this
don't
movie.
think I did. But
So you work in the front of the camera and back of the camera in this movie. Do you like that? Is it?
I do like it. I like directing. I like creating a world. I like the fact that my fate is in my hands comedically. Anyway, you know, like okay, it's funny. I don't have anybody to blame but myself. I mean, I'd rather hire, you know, Paul Thomas Anderson.
Right.
I'd rather work with Alexander Payne, but I always say when you get to the B list, you might as well do it yourself. Honestly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, you ask Quentin Tarantino if he wants to do. You ask all the good guys.
Right.
And when they pass, and when you're on that other list, when you're trying to, what'd he do? What'd he do after that? Why'd he do that one? Once you get to that list, and your agent's going, no, just meet him.
But who, say you're.
That's the worst thing you can hear. Just sit down with him. Don't just sit down with anybody.
Right. I thought you guys had great energy. I really felt he understood you.
Yeah.
Anyways, but when Chris Rock, the actor, is either underplaying or overplaying or whatever, I don't know anything about acting, but who takes him for a walk and talk in your movie and says, Chris, you gotta like.
We had the greatest acting coach in the world on the set all the time, Mr. Oh my God, why am I forgetting his name? Larry Moss.
Right.
The great Larry Moss. And he, you know, Larry, for those that don't know, Larry Moss is the best acting coach in the world. He's probably coached, you know, 6 Oscar performances. Did Leo in Wolf of Wall Street. Did, you know, Hilary Swank in the boxer movie. Like, he's the real deal.
Right.
And we had him on the set. That's what Scott supplies. He always keeps you surrounded by the best. And Larry really, really helped me. He helped me just realize, where are you? You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you shoot a movie out of sequence, and you just don't know where the hell you are. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, okay, what happened before this? Where are you coming from? How do you feel right now? And Larry was always there. And I knew, what do you feel right now? Most acting coaches, they watch you do something, and then they try to give you little adjustments here and there. The thing Larry Moss does is he's not even thinking about you on some level. Larry Moss is acting himself. So as far as Larry Moss is concerned, he's got the part too.
Right.
And Larry Moss has thought of these 12 things he would do with this scene.
Right.
And you'd be an idiot not to do, you know, at least 8 of these 12 things he would do if he had this part.
Right.
So he's in your ear and he's like, try more. There's more there. What if you did it the exact opposite of what you thought? What if you sped it up? What if you did it in Spanish? You know what I mean? This, you know?
It just sounds like he's shouting random aphorisms at you.
Some of it's that.
Yeah.
Some of it's that. But when you're in the cutting room, you're so happy you have all of this
Okay,
stuff.
I got it.
Yeah.
So he's prompting you.
He's
feeding
prompting you, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've done enough movies where you worked with plenty of directors, you know, with sort of Cape of Good Hope on one end, who's rubbing your shoulders and you're great and I love what you give me, and then Cape Fear over here that's just not telling you nothing. It's like working with Buddha and not giving up anything. Does he love it? Does she hate it? What's going on here? What kind of director are you?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't even call, I'm like the protector. I'm not the director, I'm the protector. I protect the script, I protect the idea. That's what I'm there for. And, I hang out with my actors. You won't even know I'm directing until I say action.
Right.
If you were just walking in from the street, I'd kind of, try to just blend in with everybody and try to get them as relaxed as possible. You try to cast the right people so they're acting as little as possible,
Sort of helps that you, on your cell phone, you've got some of the best actors.
We got everybody in the movie's a really, really good actor.
Well, can you just run some of the folks?
Rosario Dawson, J.B. Smoove, Cedric the Entertainer, Gabrielle Union, this woman from Saturday Night Live, Leslie Jones, who's just started SNL, Kevin Hart, Adam Sandler, Jerry Seinfeld, this big, Sherry Shepherd's really good in the movie. Just a lot of really great character people in there too.
Do you think it's like, oh, it's nice you made that little funny movie, and the movie is a comedy, but it's got its significant dramatic elements, and there is an art. Do you think doing funny is harder than doing serious?
Oh, doing funny is way harder than.
Why?
Because you don't get credit for. You don't only get credit if it's funny. Where drama, you actually get credit just for the effort, just for completion. It just is. I always say, if you take a movie like Gone Girl. Okay, I like Gone Girl. I thought he did a great job. David Fincher's amazing. But if I gave Gone Girl to Adam McKay,
right,
who directed Anchorman,
right,
you'd still understand what happened in Gone Girl.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it'd be as good as David Fincher's, but it would get done, right, and everybody would be able to talk about Gone Girl.
Right.
Now, if you gave David Fincher Anchorman, it would be horrible.
It's going to take that personal. You're going to.
I love David Fincher, and he's
You're
not
using your words to hurt.
I don't. I like David Fincher, and am I really going to do a movie with 80 takes? No, I'm not doing 80 takes.
But here's the thing about that, though, is you open.
Takes 78. David, hire me. You got Tyler Perry. What about me?
But like Social
Tyler
Networks.
Perry's great in that movie, by the way.
Yeah, amazing. But in Social Network, it begins with that great movie speech where Jesse Eisenberg is just doing that super hardcore, mile a minute, talk. It's Aaron Sorkin, after all, that wrote it. And I just think that's the best, young performance I've seen in a while. I think that was take 98.
That was really? Yeah. God bless him. God bless him. That's my favorite Fincher movie is Social Network.
Yeah, it's a super strong movie, and I wouldn't have been wanted to stand there and watch him make it, let alone be in it.
Oh my God.
When you build a movie, when you make a movie, it's not like when you do your stand-up tour. Number one, stand-up tour is kind of how you get paid, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Right? So you don't go, hey, we can
stand-up tour and Madagascar.
Right.
I am the zebra.
You're both black and white.
I am black and white. Long live the zebra, baby, Marty. Marty pays the bills.
I gotta say, Donkey's been pretty good to Eddie and.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I keep trying to talk Jeffrey into the Donkey Zebra movie.
I love Donkey. I gotta say.
Donkey and Zebra should get together and fight somehow. I don't know.
I was thinking more of a rom-com.
Fine. I'll take anything.
Just a gay rom-com between a donkey and a zebra.
Okay.
Okay, but when you do stand up, it's your tribe. You're gonna blow a whistle. They're gonna show up. They're gonna buy tickets unless, you've done a very good build on your comedy career, bigger and bigger rooms, more and more important specials. But that isn't really like what happens when you make a movie, because One is, that's your tribe, and they're going to show up almost no matter what you're doing. And this, you got to get a bigger bunch in.
Yeah, movies are bigger. I mean, movies are collaborative. So you're asking people to, hey, come and see this thing I did with a lot of people.
Right.
This thing I collaborated on. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What's the question now? Yes.
The question is, do you have to, you build you build a tour by, you start in small rooms, you're very scientific about it, and you build and add and bolt stuff together. With movies, you got to think about everybody. It's not just how you're going to feed your tribe. It's not just going to, you know what I mean? It's a more general audience.
It can be. I mean, it's weird. This movie feels like my stand-up. This is.
I don't agree with you.
I think
it feels more like Annie Hall to me than your stand-up.
There's no jokes about gefilte fish in this movie.
But no, in terms of mood and in terms of.
Yeah, but I mean.
There's a lot of walking and talking. It's very adorable, romantic.
Yes, but if you watch my specials, the things that the critics or press or whatever you want to call it write about, they always write about the racial or political things. That's only 8 minutes of any special. All of my specials are relationship based.
Right.
Most of them are, at least, if the special's a half hour, if the special's an hour, a half hour is on men and women. Every one of them. And that's what sells the seats. If I just talked about politics, I would play the Beacon.
Right.
I would. I'd play the Beacon, or I'd play Caroline's for 5 shows. But, and I'd make a good living, or I'd play Town Hall or whatever. But the only way you play the Garden is you got to get girls. You can't just, you can't get girls talking about politics. Right, girls?
Thanks for the tip. So I think our esteemed host.
Or guys, sure.
Our esteemed hostess, Carol, mentioned that one of the scenes in your movie happens like right here.
Yeah.
On this very stage. We're sitting outside and you're going, have I been? And I was like, dude, it's in your movie. You filmed a scene.
I sat here and Charlie Rose sat there, yes.
Yeah.
You're better than Charlie Rose.
Oh, yeah. Tell Charlie that. I've sat at the table. I've sat in his crucible. You visited Charlie last week.
It's like being stuck in an elevator with Charlie Rose. Am I stuck in? Oh, it's Charlie Rose. That's where I'm at. Kind of the same thing.
Here amongst inky blackness.
Yeah,
we're going
it's a dark room and this table and.
You know what? The guy's stamina and breadth of knowledge it's unstoppable. And after he gets done with that, he goes and does like a 3-hour nap, and then you can watch Charlie Rose, and then you just reach for the remote and you click it on in the morning, and there he is on the morning show.
On the morning show.
It's just
kind of
like,
bushy-eyed.
It's like, what the hell? I don't know how he does it. Anyways, Chris Rock and the great Charlie Rose. Let's roll the clip. It's a funny bit.
Wow.
You guys are watching that, the layers of meta that are underway right now. With that, we're going to talk about the scene that took place here, your character talking, whatever. Did you ever, what's the cheesiest thing you ever done? You never done a Hammy the Bear, but do you ever do something that was just like, every time that clip comes on? Or,
Oh man, I did this. The worst movie I probably did was this movie, Beverly Hills Ninja. When,
I'm guessing kind
bad, yeah.
of early in your career.
Yeah, no, it was, it was me and Chris Farley, and I just bought a house, and just the whole idea of a mortgage scared the hell out of me. It's okay, I'll do this movie where I'm chasing a chicken around in a bellhop suit. It's pretty horrible. It's pretty freaking disgustingly bad.
You ever been wandering around cable and seen yourself chasing a chicken?
Yes, it's always bad. It's always bad.
Doesn't get better. I've always admired your ability to get on and off the sort of conveyor belt of celebrity, because like right now you are doing it. You were at ESPN all day long today. Every time I open up, there you are. It's just you are on it, and you're somebody who works hard in support of work that you believe in, which is important.
Well,
then you just stop.
Well, they don't pay you to do movies, they pay you to sell movies.
Right.
So that's really.
Well, I don't think
job.
that's the weird part, although you are game. I just think it's that it just feels like if you could just send a memo to some of your brothers and sisters, like, they don't need to see you all the time.
No. My old boss, Lauren Michaels, used to say, you can't make an entrance if you never leave. So, yeah, just get the hell out of there sometimes. Just, make it special, make it an event. You want to be the Stones. You don't want to be a band.
I don't know how special the Stones are at this
Well, they were for a while.
Sort of like you again.
Yeah.
I can't believe you're.
Well, after a
You
while.
can't be running out of money, that's for sure. What are you doing back? Have you been to a Stone show lately?
I've been to a couple.
Yeah. Wow. Whereas, we had our article in today's paper where the big movement in radio right now.
Oh, it's old school rap.
Old school rap.
Yeah.
And to me, like, I got off that bus back then. That's all I care about is those artists, and I have no idea what anybody's talking about now, right? And so I just think it's so great. So my top 5 would all be like contemporaries of Fred Flintstone. They're from way back in the day. But why is it that, I mean, how can I say this without seeming racist?
You want me to get you a pass?
Yeah. White people are not going to play top 5. They're not going to go, Led Zeppelin, oh God.
Neil Diamond.
It doesn't work, right?
A little bit. I've played with, sports. You get a lot of, top 5 quarterbacks, top 5 point guards, a little bit.
Let's watch you name your top 5. But just a sec. When I was watching the movie, I was thinking, are these your top 5?
That day they were, It changes from day to day. But Jay-Z always ends up at top, so,
That's fine, but I like that Nas made it.
Yeah, Nas.
Hakeem.
Yeah.
And he even let in LL Cool J's 6 Man.
6 Man, LL, man.
That's right. So these are sort of representative.
Yes, this is very representative. I adore all of these artists.
Okay, let's run the clip.
My top 5 is Jay, Nas, Scarface.
Oh, okay.
Scarface, because everybody got their from Scarface.
Yeah, I have to admit.
Rock him,
Rock him.
and then I might let Biggie get in there.
My top 5. Ice-T.
Ice-T.
Ice-T. Hey, hell no. 6 in the morning, police at my door. Fresh Shadida squeaking across the bathroom. Oh.
My 6th man's LL Cool J. Before the show.
Oh my
Before the show. Poor LL Cool J. I mean, I'm sure he's doing fine.
Doing a little bit better now that
I'm
you
sure he's
showed
doing
him
better
some
than
love.
almost everybody on that list except Jay-Z.
Yeah. And nobody ever does better than Jay-Z except
Nobody.
the woman he's with. So.
Yeah.
Do you, and this might be cheesy, but if you're a rapper or a comedy star, you sort of rise or fall in your ability, spit words, take over a room, maintain control of the crowd. I mean, do you think it's similar at all?
I guess it's a little bit. I mean, rappers have a hard job, man, because there's a new hot rapper every 6 weeks or whatever. So your rise at the top is shorter than leprechauns, as Biggie Smalls once said. You know, it's hard to stay a big rapper for any period of time. That's why Jay.
Unlike the friendly and uncompetitive environment of comedy, everybody who's a comedian in that room would like to kill you.
Yes, but there's a great comedian every 6 years, you know? And there's a great stand-up every 12, 15 years, you know what I mean? There's a lot of great comedians, and they tend to hang on for a while. You can have different incarnations, you know. You can go to Broadway, you can write books, you can do all sorts of things where, boy, a rapper is quick, man. That's a quick life, man. I keep thinking I've started a movie kind of like a Crazy Heart, where I play like an old rapper.
Can you do it?
I mean, it's like you said, I think it's time for it, honestly.
Okay, this is your 5-minute warning. We're going to be turning it over to you guys, and don't let that dweeby person in the Times Center clip fool you. Your question will be erudite, witty, and to the point, and we're going to turn toward you in about 5 minutes. Do you? I know a little bit about comedy because I know a few people who've done it. It seems like a really lonely road, right?
I mean, stand-up's the loneliest thing you can do. I mean, you're really up there by yourself. I mean, even Paul Simon has somebody tuning up the guitar or something. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but a stand-up is totally alone, man. And you have to do all the things that a band would do. You have to fill up that space. So yeah, it's a lonely, sad place for a lot of guys.
When's the last time? Well, it's probably been a while, but can you remember acutely the last time you went out and just ate it? Like you just bumped into something super hard and you just couldn't get unstuck?
I was eating it probably 3 weeks before I did SNL, trying to get that material. I knew the material was right. I knew, like, the thought of the Freedom Tower is a fucking joke. You're kidding me, right?
Right.
But if you don't say it right, you know what I mean, it can eat it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm at the Comedy Cellar, which is on Bleecker and McDougal.
Right.
So I'm 20 blocks from the Freedom Tower.
Right.
Telling jokes about the Freedom Tower. So yeah, I ate it, and it got better and better, and you know, one joke led to another, and one laugh led to another, and I kind of, you know, figured it out, you know, and that's where I like to hang out comedically. I like to hang out in a dangerous place,
Right.
you know. So yeah, I was eating it, you know, it didn't just come out of my head funny. It was just like, okay, this is.
It was kind of edgy. I was at the Saturday Night Live rehearsal when you went there, and half the people were laughing their buns off, and the other half were. Did he just say that? And it's like, wow.
Yeah, man. So, you know.
And, you know, the answer to you can't say that as well, I just did.
I just said it. I mean, if this Times Talk was at the Freedom Tower, half these people wouldn't be here.
Right.
You know.
Just sec. Just sec.
Yeah, and half the ones that would come and go, okay, what floor is it on? How high up is it?
Is that true?
Of course.
Okay, let's just try.
It's the only building where the lower floors cost more money.
Wow.
Floor 118's cheap. Cheap.
Do you think?
You want the fourth floor? It's gonna cost you.
Do you think that? So you feel like you can still get a true read out of a room? Because I would think, well, you're Chris Rock, you're playing a small room, I'm sitting there, I'm just gonna think you're funny no matter what.
For about 5 minutes.
Okay.
And then it wears off. Hey, I've tried a couple here tonight that just went. Like, okay. Hit us with the real, Chris. We heard that one on Letterman.
Yeah. There's an expectation that people bring to certain performers, and I loved that they gave me this clip to because it's somebody trying to elicit a performance from your artist, the guy you're playing, and it's not really.
Oh, that thing, yeah.
This thing stank, right? And so let's roll this clip, and then we'll let you guys talk.
Hey, what's up? This is Andre Allen, and when I listen to satellite radio, I listen to Sirius Hits 1.
Just, you know, just put a little stank on it.
Stank.
Stank.
Stank?
Give it stank.
Okay, I don't really know what you mean. Could you show me?
You're the funny. Okay, all right. It's like, hey, this is Andre Allen. And when I listen to satellite radio, whoa, I listen to Sirius Hits 1. Woo! Stank. Nice and funny. Go.
What's up?
I can't really see. We have microphones up. Are people at the microphones? Are you over there? Yeah.
It's a good movie. Go see it. Sorry. No one from North Korea is offended in it.
You don't need to read it off your phone. I know you got it right in your little head here. Right in your little head. Just talk to Chris.
Hello.
See?
Hi.
When you're in movies with like other comedians like Adam Sandler, do you follow the script or do you make your own stuff?
See? Perfect. Nicely done.
A little bit of both, you know. There's a script, and we do follow it, but when you have a great comedian, like an Adam Sandler, like Adam's in this movie for a scene, you go, what do you got? You know, when you got that kind of talent around, you just want to go, okay, I'm open to any idea that a great comedian has, or even a bad comedian, honestly. I just want to, you're just open to their ideas. So, you know, you hear them and you try out, you know, you try to make the most of the time you have.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead, sir, please.
Chris, I loved the movie. I thought it was great.
Thank you.
Was there anything autobiographical about the movie? And the question I ask is, the scene with Bev Vereen when you meet your dad.
Right.
It was a very poignant part of that film. I thought the best part of the whole entire movie was as far as not the comedy. Was there any truth to that?
No, my dad's fine. My dad, well, he's dead, but he was.
Other than that, he's fine.
Other than that, he's fine. No, but you know, I have a brother who pretty much drank himself to death. So I kind of like repackaged the father with the brother. So yeah, I've lived that scene before.
It was great.
And there's a few scenes in the movie I definitely lived before.
And one more quick thing.
Sure.
The first time I ever saw you with probably a lot of people in this room was in front of the library.
From the library?
Playing in front of the New York Public Library.
I've played in front of New York Public Library, yes.
Yeah, he used to stand up there and used to abuse little people. I'll always remember
Wait,
that.
what?
I mean, I played in the
Stand
New
up.
York Public Library.
Thank
I played Washington Square Park. I played all this stuff.
Well, like what? With the cup in front of you, or?
I mean, you know, with a hat or whatever, you know. With Rick Aviles, Charlie Barnett, you know.
Wow.
You know.
That seems like a tough crowd.
That's the toughest crowd in the world.
New York City street. Shouting jokes at them.
That's the hardest thing.
That's just a half a step away from crazy, I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead, young lady.
The movie was hilarious.
Thank you.
I loved you on Broadway as well. It was a great performance. My question is, since you burst out onto the scene a good 20 years ago, you were talking about how Woody Allen is like one of your idols or how much you love his work. How has it influenced your work? Has it played into your work at all? And particularly since they're comparing this movie to Annie Hall, I was interested.
I mean, this is no Annie Hall, but
I'm glad you went back to that because he would not take the bait, and I think you and I are right.
I've read that you've talked
I
about
love
Woody Allen
Woody.
being like an idol and an influence. I was just curious in what way.
there's a lot of Woody in this movie.
Thank you.
I've studied. Yeah, come on. If you're not stealing from Woody, you're not making a New York movie. You know what I mean? So yeah, come on. I watch them all. I know every shot of every scene of all of them.
And any other parts of your work, or just in this movie in particular?
In this movie in particular. I mean, I knew how to steal it better in this movie than I have in the past. You know.
Thank you.
Greatest. Thank you so much. Go ahead, sir.
Hi, great movie. Really
Thank
loved
you.
it. You've succeeded as a director, as an actor, and as a writer, but I'm wondering what you think of yourself as primarily.
What do I think of myself as primarily? I mean, honestly, I'm a writer at the end of the day. It's what I do the most. It's what I tell my children I do. You know? I mean, I like being a comic, don't get me wrong, but because of the nature of stand-up comedy and the travel, it's just like I can only do it a certain amount of time every couple of years because your kids are only young once. You know what I mean? So, and even that has to be written. So I fashion myself a writer.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, kids are growing up a million miles away from when you did. I mean, you have a daughter who plays basketball, but she also rides horses.
Yeah, I got the equestrian daughter and the basketball daughter, and the tennis and the gymnastics. It's amazing. They live. I never liked rich kids.
Right.
Never hated rich kids my whole life, and now I have a couple. So.
Well, I mean, you said that
we have nothing in common.
Did you give them the old man talk where you said, back when we were kids, there was no air?
I try. They could care less.
But you've said you can't. Did kids, you always think, well, I'm growing them into their sweet nature. But you've said before, kids aren't really born sweet. They're
kids
savage.
are horrible things. They're the worst things ever. Only people that don't have kids tell you how kids learn to hate. No, kids hate. Kids hate right away. You don't have to teach kids to hate. They hate something right now. Kids are all just lovely. Please. I remember there was a phase when Lola was just biting people. Like, what? You have a kid and you're worried that your kid's gonna bite somebody? We weren't teaching her to bite.
Go ahead, please.
Hi, Chris. I'm Nicole. It's great to meet you. My question is, during your Kill the Messenger tour, the parts that we saw on TV were, they kind of sliced it together in the 3 different countries, so it looked like a similar act. But when you were there live, did you make any nuanced changes to your act because something wasn't working right? I noticed you dressed differently, too, very distinctively differently across all the 3 different countries. I was just curious about that experience and what kind of came out of that.
You know what's weird with that? My HBO special, Kill the Messenger, was a HBO special that I filmed in 3 countries. Did 1 act in 3 countries. So in New York, London, and Johannesburg, South Africa, right? I got the idea. Rick Rubin, my good friend Rick Rubin, gave me the idea. He said, you know, it'd be cool if you did it in 3 countries. One of the reasons I did it is because people always say that black humor doesn't travel. So, it was, you know, you do a movie and they go, oh, it's not going to travel. So, oh, I'll show you. So, one of my goals was to do a tour where I played the whole world, or the English-speaking world, or, you know, whatever, and basically break the record in every country. That's first of all. But
No ego involved in that.
it was
Just a little something you
I
thought of.
make some dough. A little ego in that, but just to prove a point, you know. And but to your point, every country, before I did a gig, I had to get there a week early and go to a comedy club and get their newspaper and make little adjustments in every country. And you know, a lot of it's reference based. So I'd have, you know, you have your monitors, everybody's got monitors, and one of my monitors would be fake. And I would have a list of reference points that would work in each country. So the Derek Jeter joke that works in America became a Ronaldo joke in London. You know what I mean? Or when I was in Australia, it would become some other soccer player, and Whole Foods would become something else, and you had to like have, you know, I had this weird thing I had to do every night, but it was great.
Thank you.
There you go.
Go ahead, please.
I saw the movie at the premiere in Toronto, and I'm assuming it's the same version in the
Yeah,
general
yeah.
release.
Yeah, we took out all the dancing.
Okay. Damn. I was wondering about the ambiguity and unresolved stuff at the end, and how you, like, was that, you know, how did you think about that and leaving things open? Were you thinking of a sequel, or, you know, did you ever feel that you needed to tie things up more?
No, I mean, I just thought it's a day in the life. He's interested in this woman. It's not, you know, you could Hollywood it up and have him run there and spell it out, but just the thought. It's like a joke earlier. Any day somebody thinks about fucking you is a good day. Look at that. And the movie just kind of ends with him thinking like, You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just thought I thought it did more than to really tie it all up.
Well, and then you can take home whatever you want.
And you take home whatever you want. Does he go back? Does he go with her? Does he, you know, you take whatever you want. But it's very optimistic.
Just a sec. They totally hook up.
Probably.
They
should.
I got to say, you know, as a reporter, whenever you see a reporter come on screen, you know what they're there for, which is to sleep with their source. That's the only way.
Never happened to me, but,
right.
You know.
Here's the thing. I did a story about you. I didn't even get a hug out of the deal. And I'm like, Rosario Dawson, what has she really got on me? I mean, come on. Go ahead, sir.
Could you talk a little bit more about the freedom to be offensive? It seems like we're increasingly oversensitive about things.
We are oversensitive. Well, we're...
Like looking to be outraged. And
it's not even looking to be outraged. I call it selective outrage. Yeah. So, you know, we get mad at, you know, I don't know. You can't say, I'm scared right now. I'm like, you just like anything you say, it's selective outrage. So someone gets mad at one joke, but they don't get mad at any Michael Jackson jokes. Well, technically, or OJ jokes, or somebody, hey, that rape joke sucks, but this OJ joke's good. Well, the OJ joke's a murder joke. So rape's not funny, but murder's funny. Yeah. Or, you know what I mean? Like, we make this selective outrage is happening a lot.
Especially in comedy, it seems like more things should be fair game. Like, I don't know if you watch South Park at all, but they seem to go after everybody indiscriminately.
I mean, the beauty of South Park is they don't care. They don't crumble when they hear the criticism. They don't apologize ever. I don't think they've ever apologized for anything. And yeah, if you're gonna be in the arena of offensive humor, it's like fighting Mike Tyson. If you can survive the first round, you'll win. But it's gonna be it's gonna be rough that first round. You gotta dig in there. Don't be scared, and you'll be fine. So, there you go.
The thing is sometimes I think the willingness to just stand into the wind. I'm glad you mentioned South Park because, you know, they've jumped up and down on every taboo there ever was.
Oh, yeah.
There's this big argument right now, and Sony is being hacked because they depict the assassination of the leader of a sovereign nation, North Korea. Sort of naughty, except it already happened at the end of the South Park movie. They already did it.
Yeah, but it was a cartoon.
Right. But I mean, they've done Mohammed, they've done, those guys, they just stop at nothing.
Oh, they don't care. They just did Bill Cosby and Taylor Swift the other day. It was like, it's like, what the hell is this? You know, I just saw that like yesterday. Whoa.
I mean, I'm not exactly a really closely observed Catholic, but I went and saw Book of Mormon, and Mormonism and Catholicism really, if you really just switch a few things around, they're not. I mean, they both have rather odd little myths that go with them, and they have one whole song that's, you know, flipping the finger at God.
Oh yeah.
And I can't believe it. Like all these little old ladies next to me are like singing along, you know, screw God, and I'm like sitting there. It's like, wow, can we really do this? And you have to offend some part of the audience to really levitate.
Yeah, you're not doing your job if everybody's comfortable.
Right.
It's not good weed if you don't choke. You know?
Right. I was gonna say that. Go ahead.
Hi. My kids grew up with Everybody Hates Chris. In fact, every episode 3 times through. And really learned great lessons for that. But it's an interesting thing for you. Like, how did that come about? And what made you want to write that? And why, you know, you could write it again. It was great.
I just, boy, me and my good friend Ollie Leroy, we knocked that out pretty quick. We knocked out a pilot. I guess they wanted me to do a TV show, and I didn't want to do a TV show, but I kind of thought my growing up, going to a white school was kind of interesting, you know, in that time frame. And, you know, we got to do it on the CW, which actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise because no one was watching it at the time. So they kind of let us do whatever we want. And yeah, the thing's definitely taken on a life of its own. People love that show all over the world, honestly. Thank you.
Do you think it's different for your daughters that Black Secretary of State, Black President, you know, you could go down the list. Like to them, that's normal.
Yeah, my kids don't. I drill my kids all the time, like, how's school? Anybody bother you? You know, just always drilling them. Not trying to listen in really hard for something racial. Nothing, man. My oldest like 12. Like,
why don't you just burp it out? Anybody jump you for being black at school?
That girls are not going to have that problem. But, you know, you just like something in there. They don't even think that way. It's a real story. Zara one time, it was like she goes to a very private school, and she goes, Daddy, everybody keeps calling me Carol. They keep confusing me with Carol. Everywhere I go, they call me Carol, and they call Carol me. Carol's the other black girl in her class. They keep calling me Carol. And she goes, yeah, but I guess we are the shortest kids in the class.
Whoa. Those kids don't see color. Go ahead, please.
Hi, it is an honor to meet you and to be in this room. A few years ago, you did an interview for Black in America, and you talked about where are the black female Tyler Perrys, and I want to say that I hope to be that person, honestly. I'm a filmmaker. I work a full-time job, but I thank you for that because it's those type of urgings from people like you that push me, because obviously nobody knows what my name is. It's Whitney Cusack, by the way. But it helps to hear that people are looking for that from somebody like me, who essentially has a voice that nobody wants to hear.
People want to hear it.
Well, now.
Well, nobody wants to hear anybody's voice, but you got to make yourself heard. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's a good time. Shonda Rhimes, and
Ava
I can't
DuVernay.
wait to see Selma.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a good time.
Yeah. So, but thank you. That's all I had to say. Thank you so much.
I look forward. Write me a movie. I don't have anything.
Oh, absolutely. I'll start
I
on
need
it
a
tonight.
job.
You poor thing. Go ahead, please.
Hi, Chris. It's great. This has been great. I saw the movie opening night. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm going to go see it again. You said your top 5 could change any day or
Right.
every day. Who are your top 5 comedians as of today?
As of today, I mean, Richard Pryor is the greatest comedian to ever live. I'm gonna say Bill Cosby. Hey.
Way to
Rose
stay
can hit,
strong.
Right. Eddie Murphy. It's weird. Eddie Murphy's actually underrated now. Like, people forget how this guy was dynamic. I grew up, so that's 3. George Carlin was as good as anybody that's ever done it, and I'll go with Rodney Dangerfield after that. Just it's pure funny, and Red Fox, and there's a lot of great comedians. Joan Rivers was great, Dangerfield, Rickles, there's a lot. I love comedians. So.
Do you think it's, there's been these models like Louis, who I know has gone direct with his audience, Aziz, where they're starting maybe one for HBO, one for me. Maybe I'm gonna do my own thing with my audience. Do you think it's a good time for comedians to develop their own relationship with that once you've gotten to a certain level, that you can do more and better business?
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird time. It's a great time. There's so many outlets to have your stuff. It's weird. Louis did a special by himself and sold it on his website, and that was great. But it's weird because I talked to him. His next special he did on HBO.
Correct.
Because when you sell it on your website, it's great, you make the money, blah, 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 but you don't really get any fans by accident.
Right, you don't grow the tribe.
Yeah, so you're kind of just selling to your fans. When you're on something like HBO, sometimes people are just coming home and your special's on.
Right.
And they weren't even thinking about you, and they discover you. So it's good to have a little bit of both.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I may do one where I keep all the money one time, but HBO kind of works for me right now, or Netflix, or whoever knows, or now there's Hulu and all this stuff. Who the hell knows where it's going to go?
Lot of windows to put
Yeah.
things through. Thank you for your patience. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Well, continuing the subject of top 5 comedians of all time, I'd just like to ask about your stand-up. Your style is you say something, you repeat it, you give examples, you tell jokes, and the jokes continue to build. And I heard in a recent interview that you got that style from your father, if I'm not mistaken.
My grandfather was a preacher, Alan Rock, so I used to hang out with my grandfather a lot. And I used to watch him kind of write his sermons during the week. And he never really wrote the sermon out. He always just wrote the bullet points and kind of let it happen. So I kind of write my act the same way. And I kind of like preachers. I watch a lot of preachers. I watch Joel Osteen every week. I watch T.D. Jakes every week. Not because I'm, trying to get Jesus, per se, but I like them as performers. I like preachers as performers. I like
That's
how they...
weird.
But they're really good performers. It's not a big difference from what they're doing and what a stand-up's doing.
Because it's incantatory, because it's repetitive.
It's repetitive. They find a topic, they hammer it, they look for a reaction, they turn phrases. When I'm on tour, all the big preachers come out.
Right.
Now,
they do.
They come through the back.
Right.
They don't want they don't want people to see them there, but they all come out. Yeah. So it's not a big difference.
When you think about it, I can almost hear, because they'll say it once, and they'll say, Jesus loves you every day, and then they'll Jesus loves you every day.
Every day,
Right.
Yeah,
they just keep clicking.
Yeah, and they got that tried and true stuff when things are going bad. Like when comedians, when things are going bad for comedians, they have their dirty jokes.
Right.
And when things are going bad for preachers, they start picking on the people that just came this week.
Okay.
Some of y'all are never here. Just because it's Easter, it never fails. You pick on the people that, but you should be here every week.
When you're having a little rugged time up
Write
there.
me a preacher movie. I can do it. I'll knock it out. All right.
What's your safe place in terms of, if you're eating it a little bit and you got to just get them back in your hands?
I mean,
go a little bluer, go a little...
Sometimes you go a little bluer. It depends on where you're at. And, the thing that you have to learn early on is just, as a performer, the natural inclination when it starts going bad is to speed up. But the reality is the only way you're going to get out of this hole is to slow down. And you have to just slow down, say it slower, make sure you connect with the audience. And, that's the difference between the professional and the amateur. The amateur's like, slow it down.
Well, if the silence is uncomfortable, you want to fill it with words.
Yeah, you fill it with words.
Yeah, that's why. That's why you make the big money. Most people just want to just make it stop, make it go away. Go ahead, please.
Hi, Chris. The documentary you did, Good Hair, what was the inspiration behind that? Was that more of to document the history of black hair or to be more informative to white people about black hair? And how do you feel about the recent passing of T.T. Branch, the Miss Jessie's Hair founder, by apparent suicide?
Wow, okay. Okay, I did Good Hair for my daughters. It's not even... I had the idea for Good Hair 20 whatever years ago. I was doing stand-up in Atlanta, and I had a really bad turnout that week because the hair show was in town.
Bronson Brothers.
It's like, where is everybody? Well, the hair show in town. So I went to the hair show. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I wanted to shoot a movie then, but there was no reality shows. There was nothing. There was no Michael Moore even. You know what I mean? It was like, so I had to wait for technology and society to catch up with the idea. And between that and having daughters, I was like, okay, when my daughter did ask me about her white girlfriend's hair, I was like, okay, let me look into this idea again. Now, the woman that killed herself was from she did the natural hair, right? Yeah, it's weird. Lately, I've been thinking about doing another Good Hair that dealt with the natural hair movement. So I've been doing some research. I'm not going to promise I'm going to do it, but if I see enough there, I wouldn't mind, jumping into that again. It's like the only idea I've ever wanted to go back to. So.
Your hair, by the way, is not good. It's fabulous. It's amazing.
Thank you. I'll honestly say it's extensions.
So good hair, great questions, and the amazing Chris Rock. I so much appreciate your patience in waiting for us, but I think once again, Chris Rock delivers. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you. You're a pro.
Went okay.